Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra with me, Shail Bhatnagar. This is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on D Street. 350 points lower. We are slightly off the lowest point of the day, 23,950, but we are still below that 24,000 mark, which makes it almost a 3-month low for the Nifty right now. The Nifty Bank is down by nearly 500 odd points, a percent lower on the Nifty Bank as well. All the sectors of the Nifty are down in the red. Sharp cuts can be seen across the board on oil and gas, Realty, infra, even the mid and the small cap sectors that are bearing the brunt of this sharp downtick in the markets right now. Oil and gas sector is now down by 2.8%, making it the worst sectoral performer of the day today. Only a handful of the stocks on the Nifty that are managing to keep themselves higher and buoyant in this week's setup. M&M, that's up by 2.6%. Tech Mahindra is up by 1.8%. Cipla, SBI, Dr. Reddy's remain the top 5 movers on the Nifty. There are just about 7-8 stocks that are managing to pull themselves up into the green. Hero Moto is the top drag on the Nifty right now, about 4.3% lower in trade. Grasim, Bajaj Auto, Adani Ports, BPCL and ONGC are the top laggards on the Nifty right now. Well, that is the setup, and we will be coming back to the markets to see how the markets are shaping up for you, to get you the market masters' voices. But let's shift focus to the primary market space, which is now getting heated up. For this entire week, we are going to be seeing a slew of new IPOs coming in. Let's start off with Sagility. We are going to be joined by the top management of the company to really help us understand what the company does and what is the company's vision going forward from here. Just to give you a sense, this company is a technology-enabled business solutions and service provider in healthcare industry of US. And now we are joined by two gentlemen from the company's top management. Mr. Ramesh Gopalan, the Managing Director and Group CEO of Sagility India, is with us. Warm welcome to you, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out. We're also joined by Sarvabhouman D. Srinivasan, the Group CFO of Sagility India. Warm welcome to you as well. Thank you so much for joining me and Shell on this special edition. Let me start off by asking you, Mr. Gopalan, as to the objective of this IPO. Why are you launching this IPO, especially because the entire IPO is completely going to be an OFS one? What is the kind of room that you're going to be leaving for the retail investors at large in India who may be looking at your IPO?
First of all, thank you for having us on the show. Sagility is a 3-year-old company. So the history of Sagility is we were formed as a result of a carve-out of the healthcare division from Hinduja Global Solutions. The carve-out was carried out by Barings Private Equity Asia, which is now part of EQT, and they are the 100% shareholders today. So the offer, like you rightly said, is a 15% stake sale by Sagility BV, which is the entity owned by Barings Private Equity Asia. They're offering 15% of the share to the investors, and there is no primary capital being raised in this IPO.
Okay. The details are right there in front of you. The price band is 28 to 30 rupees a share, and of course priced very attractively, and about 70 crore shares are on offer. Mr. Srinivasan, this question is to you. How do you see the growth prospects of Sagility in 3 years from now? You have a very, very strong top line of about 4,700 crores and a profit after tax of about 580 crore rupees. How do you see these two numbers moving over the next 3 years or so?
Yeah, thank you. Let me talk about the top line. So we are confident of growing anywhere between 11 and 14% year on year. This has been the growth in the past as well. So we are fairly confident that we should be able to hit those numbers. And like you had mentioned on the profitability, our EBITDA margins are likely to be 23 to 25% on a go-forward basis as well.
Yeah.
So the company has made significant investments in technology, and that can help us fuel the growth for the organization.
Okay. Mr. Gopalan, could you please explain to our viewers the 2 or 3 business activities that Sagility carries out, and what are the number of clients that you have so far?
Sure. So we work for 2 sets of clients. One set of clients is what we call health insurance companies or payers in the US. And the second set of clients are providers who are hospitals, health systems, pharma lab companies, and other radiology companies and so on. For both these sets of companies, what we do is core operational work. We help these companies run their day-to-day operations. Like Srini said, while we deliver operational services, we bring in a lot of technology to our delivery. And so we try and make them as efficient as possible.
Okay. Mr. Gopalan, could you also highlight, since you were talking about, and your note also mentions that you're a 100% US healthcare focused company on the two segments that you are talking about as well. Would you be really looking at, catering to the Indian market also going forward from here, considering the fact that India is still an insured market? Does this really look attractive to you, or would you continue to focus on the US market? And could you also highlight for us what could be the 2 or 3 growth drivers for you going forward for you?
Sure. First of all, we are focused on the US healthcare market, and we are likely to be focused on that market in the foreseeable future, mainly because of the size of the market, right? So if you look at the healthcare spending in the US, it's 17% of the US GDP. It's about $4.7 trillion, which is higher than the GDP of India. So it's a huge market. And it's a very, very attractive market for us. We've done work in the US healthcare sector for 24 years now. So even though Sagility is a 3-year-old company, the business itself, the underlying business itself has been operational for 24 years. So we understand that space very well. We are specialized in US healthcare, and it's a large and very attractive market. So we'll continue to focus on the US market for the foreseeable future. And in terms of your next question, yes, the growth, we've been working, as you can see from our filing, we work for 5 of the top 10 payers in the US, and we have 40 plus clients overall. We are not highly penetrated in the middle and the small segment in the US market, and that's where we are focused heavily on. So a lot of the growth we expect to come from the mid and the small segments. And we also plan to grow our provider business in the future.
Okay. Mr. Srinivasan, what is the client concentration in terms of revenue contribution by top 10 customers, and how has it moved over the last 3 years?
Yeah, like Ramesh mentioned, this payer, we are strongly focused on the payer market, and the payer market is also largely concentrated. The top 10 players in the market, or the top 18 players in the market, hold about 60 to 70% of the market. So our revenues are also fairly reflective of that, and my top 10 are about 90% of our revenues.
Mr. Srinivasan, could you highlight for us how are you really looking at your margins currently? Where are they at? What could be the levers for you to take your margins forward from here? And what is it that your expectation is over FY25 and FY26 in terms of margins?
Yeah, like I had mentioned earlier, the EBITDA margins are strong at 23 to 25. And we had made significant investments in technology that can fuel and we can see better margins as well. But we as an organization have decided to repurpose them and trying to see if we can grow the top line faster and penetrate much faster, holding our margins at 23 to 25.
Okay. Mr. Srinivasan, what is because you are a profitable company and it's rare to get such companies list in the markets given the froth that we have seen, what is the book value of Sagility, and what is the PE that you are coming at, since you are the only player in the sector so far? So we'll have to take your PE as the industry benchmark as well.
Yeah, presently we are valued fairly low. I think the PE is around just about 20 or so. And so whereas some of the other companies who are not doing even 30-40% of what we do are traded at much higher numbers. So we will have to wait and watch in the market as to how we perform. But we are very confident of really making it big.
Okay. And I see that your borrowings are to the extent of 266 crores. Am I right? Is this a number that you are looking to decrease, or is this something that is useful in terms of working capital?
Yeah, that was the number as of March 24. I think that as we speak today, our borrowings are at USD 110 million. It was a leveraged buyout pushed in by our parent company, and it has a repayment a period of about 2+ years. This has been mentioned in the RHP as well. So we will be repaying 30 million in FY25, 30 in FY26, and the balance in FY27. So this is just a parent loan that got pushed as part of the leverage buyout.
Mr. Gopalan, let me bring you back into the conversation to help us understand a little bit on in terms of growth going forward from here. Where do you think growth will now come in from? How are you going to be scaling up the business, especially because the fundraise is not helping the company as a whole? Would you also be looking at another round of some fundraise that comes to the company now for scaling up your operations?
Not really, right? If you look at our cash flows, we generate quite healthy free cash flows every year. So we generate enough internal cash flows to fund our growth. We've been growing, like Srini mentioned, in double digits organically year on year for a few years now. But we are also looking at M&A as a lever to grow. So we're looking at capability-based acquisitions as well as any other niche player in the healthcare payer space. That would be a good addition for us. So both organic and inorganic will be the two avenues for growth. But we have enough internally generated funds to support this growth.
Mr. Gopalan, how many points of presence do you have in India? The reason why I ask is that you've almost doubled your headcount from 33,575 to okay, so it's 35,858 so far. Yeah. What is how many locations do you have in India?
Yeah, so let me give you the big picture. We operate out of 5 different countries. India is one of our bigger countries where we have about 45% of our workforce. But we also operate from Philippines, from the US, and from nearshore centers to the US like Jamaica and Colombia. So we've in India we operate from multiple cities. I think we are present in 5 or 6 cities as we speak today. But we are also looking to expand to other cities in India. Similarly, in other geographies where we operate from multiple locations within each geography.
Because you've been into the business for so long, would you have a benchmark as to how big the healthcare backend is at TCS and Infosys, so that we can benchmark your revenues with them?
Unfortunately, those companies don't disclose these numbers in their reports, so I don't have an exact number. But you also need to understand that some of the IT players that you mentioned, they have both IT revenues as well as operational services revenues in the mix. So whereas we are more of an operations company and not a pure play IT services company.
Because you enjoy such higher margins, as Mr. Srinivasan mentioned, about 22-23% EBITDA, are you planning to diversify out of healthcare in the US, or is this a pie so big that you really don't need to look out for newer sectors to sort of boost revenue?
That's true, right? The pie is so big, and like I said, it's attractive enough, and we have deep domain capabilities that we are very comfortable of continuing to grow in this space. But having said that, I wouldn't rule out the possibility of expanding to adjacent areas to healthcare, right? So we won't probably diversify completely out of healthcare, but there are a lot of adjacent spaces to healthcare where we currently don't have a big presence, and those could be areas to expand into.
Because you are the lone player in the sector as yet, is this a case in terms of existence also? I mean, of course, you are the first player in the sector getting listed, but do you have competitors in India?
We don't have a direct competitor in the sense we don't have a healthcare specialist focused on the payer space in the US as a direct competitor. Having said that, like you mentioned, there are some IT services firms who do similar work when it comes to healthcare. There are other companies which are focused primarily on the provider side of the business, and you have a few of those companies in India. But in terms of, I mean, we generate 90% of our revenues from the payers space. So we don't have a direct competitor in terms of a company who is a healthcare specialist focused predominantly on the payer space.
And Mr. Srinivasan, this one's for you. Do the contracts that you have with either insurance players or healthcare companies, they have built-in clauses for a higher fee every year? How does it work? I'm a little curious to know what do 35,858 people actually do?
Good question. So I would say there are no price increases normally that are there in our client contracts. So what happens is we do a varied set of activities for our payer clients. It could be claims adjudication, it could be enrollment. We help them on plan build. We do payment integrity, which is unique to the healthcare space. We do clinical work. So it's an entire end-to-end gamut of all back-end operations for my payer clients is what we do. And these people operate out of, like Ramesh mentioned, multiple geographies. And we have over 2,000 plus clinicians in our organization. So say, for example, clinical work. So we ensure that the right payments are getting approved. It's more like the prior authorization for our payers. So it's fairly complex, and US healthcare system is unique and complex in its own way. So we handle all of these for our clients.
Okay, Mr. Gopalan, this one's for you. The top 10 clients that you have, do they have similar work? Because the US healthcare system is so process driven, I am presuming that all of them, or at least some of them, would have similar backends, if not all.
So if I understand your question right, do they all work the same way? Yeah, broadly, the functions that each payer needs to do is very similar, right? But each one of them has their own set of application, has slightly different processes, and that's where the complexity increases. It's not that all of their systems and processes are identical to each other.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much. This is an interesting conversation that Sakshi and I had with you two. This is the first IPO in the space to get listed. We wish you all the best, and here's hoping for a fantastic listing. Given the pricing, it's done very well, and of course the PE is reasonable too. Here's hoping for a great year ahead in terms of financials as well as on the listing day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
All
much.
the best.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, was the management of Sagility India Limited. They've come out with a follow-on public offer.
Okay, got that. We'll try and get back to the markets to see how markets are functioning. A lot of new movers in the F&O space. Info Edge, for instance, is up by 3%. Dixon Technology is jumping about 2.5%, defying the trends. You also have PNB and M&M, which have been continuing to move up in this week setup in the F&O space. Samvat and Motherson is another one. NMDC, Voltas and Cipla are some of the other movers in the F&O space. But there are a slew of laggards as well as far as the F&O space is concerned. You have the likes of Aditya Birla Fashion Retail that were in thick action in the last few weeks. That's down in trade, 3.8% lower. You have Steel Authority that's down by 3.8%. Jubilant Foodworks has also slipped by about nearly 4%. DLF is the one which even Vaishali highlighted in the morning as the one which she will be looking at the sell side. It's dragging about 3.8% lower in trade right now. BPCL is another one too, 3.8% lower. Adani Ports, Indraprastha Gas, IEX, these are all the top laggards that are down by about 4%. But there are several more: Vodafone, PVR, Bata India, Sun TV. These are all the stocks that are down by anywhere between 5 to 7% in the F&O space as well. We will also be getting Raghavendra Singh, the market expert, to help us understand what's the way forward for the markets right now, 23,980. So we are slowly and gradually inching up. I think Raghavendra has joined us now. Warm welcome to you, Raghavendra. Good to have you with us. Tell us, what are you making of this sharp correction in trade today? Almost 7 lakh crore rupees wiped out from investors' kitty just within a few hours of trade as well. 24,000 has been breached on the downside as well. But after that, we've been trying to hold on. We have not really given up too much after 23,850, and we've seen some recovery also taking shape. So how are you looking at the setup?
Sakshi, very good afternoon. Selvi, very good afternoon. Nifty, Bank Nifty, taken a strong support at 23,800. It was very painful day, we can say. Now I'm hoping 24,000, 23,800 is the support, and which I think Nifty could take here. And I believe एक बार bounce back तो जबरदस्त आना चाहिए, क्योंकि जो पेन होना था वो हो गया. अभी इलेक्शन का हो गया, दिवाली का हो गया. अभी आप डेटा देखो, so almost we are trading below almost जो RSI है वो 30 के आसपास है, which is I think oversold zone, and अभी यहाँ से recovery है. Rollover was very bad, almost 3-month average was around 80%. Now this month we are starting with 71%, which is good. Most of the weak hands have been exited from the market. Now market is in safe hand. अभी ये अभी हल्का है बाजार, तो मुझे लगता है आज का जो पेन है वो आज या कल बस 2 दिन का बचा हुआ है. एंड आई बिलीव कि अब यहाँ से एक जो रिवर्सल आएगा वो तूफान आएगा. तो मेरे हिसाब से कल यूएस का इलेक्शन निकल जाए, उसके बाद वी विल बी इन द ग्रीन. और जो रैली बैठेगी यहाँ से, मुझे लगता है कि मंथली एक्सपायरी जो है, मैं आज ये बोल रहा हूँ, इट इज अ वेरी बोल्ड स्टेटमेंट, बट आई बिलीव मंथली एक्सपायरी शुड बी अबाउट 25,200 फॉर द निफ्टी इन दिस मंथ. So I'm very much bullish, and this is the time to accumulate the stock, buy on dip, don't lose any stock. अभी यहाँ बेचना कुछ भी नहीं है. मदरसन सुमी हो, रिलायंस हो, जो भी आपको दिख रहा है जो अच्छे स्टॉक है, M&M, टाटा मोटर, भेल, बाई करिए, बाई एंड होल्ड इट.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what we'll do is for the next 2 minutes, Raghavendra will make a list of stocks that he has purchased today and maybe on Muhurat day as well. He will share that list, and then we will sort of keep it with us and see the prices at the end of the November expiry. Raghavendra ji, आप वो list बनाइए. What I'll do is I'll just take a detour into the markets. So far, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, very painful start to November. This is the worst single day fall in a month, and we are yet to get over it. 34 minutes are still left. You have a 315 point cut on the Nifty, 23,988. Today's low is 23,918. Essentially all bounces are getting sold into. So this is a classic definition of a dead cat bounce. We've seen 50, 100, 200 point rallies that ultimately get sold into, and that's only because the US 10-year yield is now at its highest since 3rd of July. There are a lot of issues with the US markets. The least of them is who is going to win the US presidential election. After that, you have the 2-day US Federal Reserve meeting, where the next rate cut will be decided. That will be known till Thursday, which will also be our weekly expiry. And too much pain in the market. 10 Nifty companies declare earnings this week. None of them are likely to make you happy. So all this selling pressure is also coming off because of the weak rupee. Foreigners are selling, buying dollars versus rupee. That's depreciating the rupee. That's hitting their equity values. They are again selling and buying rupee lower. So it's a very, very vicious cycle, very hard to get out of it. While we've enjoyed 18, 20, 30, 35 months of unadulterated bull run, this is the second month of a bit of selling that is hitting markets. Look at the Nifty Midcap index, look at the Midcap, look at the Smallcap index. Large cuts are coming that way, and look at the overall advanced decline. 475 stocks in the green, 1883 in the red. So that's the broad picture which you have to keep in mind. Now Raghavendra ji, stocks that you've purchased today or on Muhurat day, which was Friday.
Shelji, there are more than 10-20 stocks, but I'll just name few. JSW Steel 955, Jindal Steel 920, Mahindra and Mahindra 2850, Motherson Sumi 183, Persistent 5400, MCX 6380, GNFC 602, Bharat Forge 1420, SDFC Bank 1722, Reliance 1295. All these stocks I have purchased today and day before yesterday on the Muhurat day, and I believe this month expiry I can I cannot guarantee and assure anyone, but definitely I'm very much positive, and I believe this stock can run almost 10 to 15% from this level, except
Absolutely,
Reliance and
Raghvendra ji.
HDFC.
Raghvendra ji, markets are a game of probability. In your mind, you are absolutely right. The risk reward favors bulls because we've corrected from 26,270 all the way down to 23,918. It's a good swing in the making. Let's hope you're right. I just did not get the GNFC price. The rest
602.
602. So that's 4 plus 4, 8 plus 1, 9 that I have noted on a piece of paper. And of course, we have full faith in your stock picking abilities. I hope these are not futures, these are cash purchases.
Cash purchase, not futures.
Okay, got that. So 10 names coming on your way from Raghavendra, what he's bought in this downturn. So you could be probably looking at those names too. Raghavendra, tell us as far as the auto space is concerned, you took the name of Mahindra and Mahindra. Tell us how are you really looking at some of the other stocks beyond M&M within the auto space after the sales figures have been released, especially in the two-wheeler space between Hero, Bajaj Auto, TVS Motors, Royal Enfield. How would you really be looking at some of these names as well beyond the four-wheeler space?
Sakshi, I think Bajaj Auto and Hero Moto have disappointed on the sales figure. I'm not very much sure that that figure is going to increase in next month because festive season is already over, and I think marriage season is coming. So maybe we can see some kind of boost from the rural India. But I believe auto sector worst is behind us now, and I believe in whether it is Bajaj Auto, whether it is Tata Motor, Hero Moto, I'm very much positive in all auto stocks. Eicher Moto is also looking good. 4500 से 5000 का लेवल आ गया एक हफ्ते के अंदर आइशर मोटर का, and I believe same चीज is going to happen with the Tata Motor. I think 820 850 level is the demand zone. I believe one should accumulate at this level. By month of by month end, I believe 950 970 Tata Motor can reach out. Apart from that, Hero Moto and Bajaj Auto both are looking good. So overall, auto sector is very much positive, and I believe one should definitely invest some amount in this sector.
Okay. Sakshi, one stock that one option trade that we had picked up in the morning, let's take a look at it. I'll request the PCR to fire the Nifty 7th November put for 24,000. At the moment it is at 194. We had picked it up at 148, but it went all the way up to 339. We'll see whether we can see that on screen or not, but such is the beauty of options, provided you know what you're doing. So with
Shailji.
that, yes sir, tell me.
Sajay, now it is time to turn your put into call. I
अच्छा।
believe 24,000 कॉल जो है अब यहाँ से वैल्यू मिलनी चाहिए. अभी भी देखिए 300 पॉइंट अभी नीचे हैं. मुझे लगता है कि 24,000 की जो कॉल है, अगर जो भी निवेशक या जो भी ट्रेडर सुन रहे हैं, मुझे लगता है कि निफ्टी में 24,000 की कॉल जो इस हफ्ते धमाल कर सकती है, तो बिल्कुल बाई कर सकते हैं यहाँ से सर.
चलिए मैं ज़रा 24,000 की कॉल अपने सामने देखता हूँ क्या है. एक मिनट होल्ड कीजिए. निफ्टी 24,000 कॉल इस वक्त 202 रुपये की चल रही है. एम आई राइट?
यस सर.
Okay, so the intraday high for this call, ladies and gentlemen, was 374 rupees. Of course, it slipped all the way down to 130 because the Nifty fell, and now you have fresh momentum on the long side. Remember, Nifty's low was 23,918. From 918, it's gone up to 24,000, and that's the beauty of this market. This low was 130 on this call. 7th November 24,000 call at 200 rupees, and let us see whether it's able to scale its today's high, which was 380. Let us see how that happens. ठीक है राघवेंद्र जी, ये भी आपके नाम के सामने लिख ली और देखते हैं क्या होता है. अभी 27 मिनट हैं. कॉल्स और पुट्स का मार्केट इज जस्ट 10 मिनट्स.
अगर आप देखेंगे, अगर आपने मंथली डेटा देखा है, सो मंथली जो निफ्टी की पुट है 24,000 की, वो 100 रुपए डिस्काउंट में ट्रेड कर रही है. दैट मीन्स पीपल आर सेलिंग, जो भी बिग प्लेयर्स हैं, दे आर सेलिंग विद द 100 रुपीज डिस्काउंट. आई डोंट सी कि ज्यादा कुछ इसमें बहुत बड़ा ऐसा इमीडिएट डाउन साइड आ सकता है. तो आई बिलीव कि कम से कम ये मंथ में 24,000 के ऊपर तो एक्सपायरी आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग आज के डेटा के हिसाब से. ये डेटा एक हफ्ते बाद थोड़ा चेंज होगा, देखा जाएगा. बट अभी वो डिस्काउंट में ट्रेड कर रहा है, तो मुझे लगता है कि ये जो ऑप्शन है ये मुझे कुछ बता रहा है, दैट इज इंडिकेटिंग समथिंग. तो हो सकता है कि शायद अगले हफ्ते से या 2-3 दिन के बाद जो है बाजार में जो ये मोमेंटम है, मुझे लगता है ये थोड़ा रुकेगा और यहाँ से एक अपसाइड की रैली जो है आने लगेगी जो है.
चलिए, आपके मुंह में घी शक्कर. राघवेंद्र जी, ये बताइए चांदी और सोने का काम कैसा चल रहा है?
दिवाली कैसी रही, धनतेरस?
बहुत अच्छा था सर, आप लोगों की दुआ से बहुत अच्छा था. और अभी चांदी और सोना के रेट थोड़े नीचे आए हैं. मैरिज सीजन स्टार्ट हो रहा है. आज ही मुझे खबर मिली कि 50 लाख शादियां हो रही हैं ये साल. तो मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि रेट थोड़े और कम हो जाएं और लोगों के लिए अफोर्डेबल हो जाए. और सोने चांदी जो है अब क्योंकि चांदी जो है धनतेरस के बाद करीब 6,000 रुपए नीचे आई और सोना करीब 1,500 रुपए नीचे आया. तो अब ये लग रहा है कि यहाँ से जो है एक बेस बन रहा है, स्टेबल हो जाएगा रेट. 1-2 हज़ार रुपए मुझे लगता है चांदी सोना थोड़ा और नीचे आना चाहिए यहाँ से.
You know, Sakshi, there was this lovely meme that came on gold and silver, which said गरीब भारतीयों ने धनतेरस पर 30 टन सोना और 150 टन चांदी खरीद ली.
बिल्कुल सही. ये मीम चल रहा है, ये मीम चल रहा है सर अभी.
वैसे रोज बात करते रहते, सैलरी नहीं बढ़ रही, इन्फ्लेशन इतनी है, और धनतेरस के दिन जाके तबाही मचा दी.
150 करोड़ में से सर 130 करोड़ जो इकोनॉमिस्ट हो गए थे जब ये सोने चांदी के भाव बढ़े थे, और उसी में से 90% लोग दुकान के बाहर खड़े थे. तो थोड़ा सा ऐसा लग रहा था मनरेगा की लाइन लगी हुई है, सोने चांदी की नहीं.
साक्षी ने मुझसे कहा है आपसे पूछें कि आपकी सेल कितनी हुई गोल्ड और सिल्वर की.
थोड़ा बहुत कंट्रीब्यूशन सर देश की इकोनॉमी में हम लोग का भी है.
आपकी तरफ से भी जाता था ब्लिंकिट और ये जेप्टो को जो जाती है सप्लाईज कॉइन्स की, गोल्ड और सिल्वर कॉइन्स की, आपकी तरफ से भी गई थी? क्योंकि
नहीं सुना है
ब्लिंकिट पर जितने सिल्वर कॉइन्स बिके हैं वो शायद नॉर्मल दुकानों पर नहीं बिके, इसलिए मैं पूछना चाह रही हूं.
नहीं, जो ब्लिंकिट वाले बेचते हैं सर मैम सिल्वर, वो थोड़ा डिफरेंट होता है. अच्छा. हमारा सिल्वर हम सामने बुला के ही देते हैं सिल्वर, आप यही चले जाइए. ये जोमेटो से ऑर्डर मत कीजिए, जोमेटो, स्विगी, जेप्टो इनके लिए नहीं बने हुए हैं, वो रिस्क नहीं ले सकते.
Okay.
I am having a good laugh. Sakshi will ask questions.
Okay.
एक ही मिनट में जेप्टो, ब्लिंकिट, जोमेटो को तबाह कर दिया. स्विगी का आईपीओ आ रहा है. वो वाली बात है ना, आपने वो वाला मीम देखा था क्या? हमारा कुत्ता टॉमी, तुम्हारा कुत्ता कौन सा था? वो भी एक मीम था. हमारी चांदी अच्छी, तुम्हारी चांदी कैसी? You know, इस दर्दनाक माहौल में अगर हंसी आ जाए तो बहुत
अच्छी बात. बहुत यही चाहिए लोगों को. इस समय हंसाने वाला कोई नहीं है सर. अगर हम लोगों की आंखों में खुशी के आंसू दे पाए मार्केट के आंसू की जगह, तो बहुत अच्छी बात है.
खुशी देंगे सर बिजनेस टुडे पर, आंसू तो हम किसी भी तरीके के यहाँ पर नहीं देंगे. अब आप बताइए कि स्विगी के आईपीओ का क्या करना है?
बिल्कुल अप्लाई करना है. मुझे लगता है कि स्विगी का आईपीओ अच्छा हो सकता है. देखिए उनका जोमेटो तो है ही, और अभी कंपटीशन बढ़ रहा है, तो मुझे लगता है स्विगी जो आ रहा है ये एक लिस्टिंग गेन अच्छा देगा, और उसके बाद भी इसको रख सकते हैं. तो मुझे लगता है कि ये एक अच्छा आईपीओ हो सकता है.
तो स्विगी का आईपीओ ऑर्डर करें, लेकिन स्विगी पर सिल्वर और गोल्ड
खाना मंगाएं, ऐसा कहते हैं.
खाना ऑर्डर कीजिए, सिल्वर गोल्ड मत ऑर्डर कीजिए. कल को मालूम पड़ा किसी ने क्रूड ऑयल भी ऑर्डर कर दिया उसमें.
राघवेंद्र जी, आपने लंच में क्या पिया है? पहले मेरे को ये बताओ. Let us just say हाँ, स्विगी का आईपीओ ऑर्डर कीजिए और स्विगी पर सिर्फ खाना मंगाइए, फिर ठीक है। आज राघवेंद्र जी फुल फॉर्म में। चलिए ऐसा करते हैं, लेट्स टेक अ डिटूर टू द मार्केट, let's look at pharma stocks. The reason why I say pharma is interesting because you have a lot of activity happening on counters such as Aurobindo Pharma, Lupin, in particular Cipla, 2 percentage points higher. Remember, Cipla was also amongst the gainers on Thursday and Friday. So this is a strong up move that's happening, and this is accompanied by a drop in open interest, which essentially means that whatever bears are remaining, they are also pulling out their short positions, and therefore the rise is equally sharp. Dr. Reddy's, it's become affordable in terms of visibility. This is a 5-for-1 stock split that has brought the price down from about 6,400 all the way down to 1267. Strong move coming in on Glenmark, and of course as I said, Aurobindo Pharma 1402 in the morning. Even Lupin was amongst the gainers. राघवेंद्र जी, आपके हिसाब से सबसे मजबूत चार्ट फार्मा स्पेस में किस स्टॉक फ्यूचर का है?
Okay, I guess there is some technical glitch. We've lost Raghavendra in between. We'll try and get back to Raghavendra. Meanwhile, 24,000 is back on the screens. 300 points of a cut can still be seen on the Nifty, but 24,000 is back just 20 minutes before the markets is to shut shop. Do we see this as an indication of a near-term bottom being formed and the markets or bulls not giving up just as yet and wanting to come back to 24,000 and beyond? That is something that we will track for you. I think it's some of the IT and the PSU names also supporting the sentiments at this point in time. I think IT is the one that is contributing some names on the positive side that's leading to this recovery. Tech Mahindra, LTI Mindtree, HCL Tech Infosys, L&T Technology Services. These are the IT space stocks that are up. Let's also look at Reliance Industries to see whether that has also pulled up in trade right now. Is it off the low point of the day at least? Reliance Industries share currently as at 1303. Yes, it's definitely off the low point of the day. So some of these heavyweight counters pointing to a recovery in the markets right now.
Sakshi, will also mark Afcon's infrastructure. This is today's baby. The listing came in on the first full day of Samvat 2081. Remember, it got listed at 7 percentage points lower than its IPO price of 465, and it's recovered all that and more. Now 2.6% higher at 475, and let me just mark the turnover for you on Afcon's infrastructure. It's 2,589 crores, making it the top traded counter on the NSE. This generally happens on the first day. What's also interesting is Vari Energy. I'm requesting the PCR to please fire that chart. Remember, early morning this was down 5%. Today is now at a fresh record high. 3015 is what you've seen. So it's a swing of 8%. Down 5 in the morning and then recovering all that and more at 3015. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is in the morning that I had mentioned a free float play. The only float available in the market is 7,900 crores or even less, and as they say that some things are best left unsaid. So keep in mind the low liquidity and the low float before you do anything on the Vari Energy counter. From the day of listing, each day has been a positive ending for Vari, and therefore it becomes all the more difficult to ride this tiger. राघवेंद्र जी, आप 4-5 दिन का चार्ट अगर ट्रैक करते हो तो वारी एनर्जीज के बारे में कुछ बताइए.
सर, अभी मैं देख रहा था चार्ट, उसका हायर टॉप हायर बॉटम फॉर्मेशन है. आज एक बार डिप आया था, लेकिन उसने प्रीवियस डे के लो को टच किया और वो वहां से रिवर्सल लिया. तो चार्ट तो बहुत बढ़िया है सर. कल का उसने 2 दिन पहले का जो हाई था उस लेवल को ब्रेक किया, आज वहीं से सपोर्ट लिया है. तो अभी समझ लीजिए स्काई इज द लिमिट। 4 दिन का जो 3 स्टेप जो सोल्जर्स बन चुके हैं चार्ट पे, मुझे लगता है 3200-3400 का भाव दिखेगा बहुत जल्दी।
ओके गॉट इट। 3200 से 3400 तक का लेवल आपको देखने को मिल सकता है। 3000 पे फिलहाल वारी एनर्जीज अब दिन के उच्चतम स्तरों के करीब 4% ऊपर फिलहाल ट्रेड करते हुए। Let's look at the broader markets. There are several other stocks that are actually pulling up in trade. Let me just mark a few of them. You have Sequent Scientific that's up 5% in trade. We have Transformers and Rectifiers India that's also up by 5%. Then you have Rainbow Children's, as was marked by Shell in the morning, 5% higher. Office Space Solutions is up by 5.5%. Recently listed stock. Gufic Biosciences is up 6%. Taj GVK Hotels is up 6%. Persos we marked in the morning as well. That's also up. You have CRM Silk that's up 8%. Transport Corporation of India 8.5% higher. Azad Engineering on the back of that news flow is continuing to hold up about 8.5% up. Elki Rubber is also up in trade. So these are some of the stocks that are actually moving up. Within the broader markets, Raghavendra, anything that strikes your attention where one should be really looking at to catch momentum?
MCX, one can definitely look for MCX.
Okay.
And apart from that, LNT. LNT is looking very good. LNT after the result, LNT is hovering around 34,000-35,000 level, and now it is trading around 3,600 level. So I believe LNT is looking good. Apart from the other stocks, heavyweights. Sakshi, if you remember, we discussed Frog Cellular, few days back. Now stock is trading around 350 level. We discussed this stock around, I think 320, 310 level. Now trading around 350. गिरते हुए मार्केट में भी अकेला स्टॉक ऊपर है, मिड कैप स्मॉल कैप में भी है। सेलुलर फ्रॉग सेलुलर सर, फ्रॉग cellular.
I'll just check that.
Yes. So this company is dealing into the defense telecom services. One of the best company, I think. And Kiri Industries we discussed last week. तो ये दोनों स्टॉक अभी भी जो है डिलीवरी के मोड में हैं और अच्छे लग रहे हैं। तो
Frog
देख सकते
Cellsat
हैं।
is what you are mentioning?
Yes. Frog Cellsat.
Okay.
This is the cellular technology. And Kiri Industries.
Kiri is something that you mentioned before too.
Yes. So these two stocks are looking good. Apart from that, Shaji, there is one more stock, Pradeep Phosphate, which is into the chemical, they are dealing with the chemical. So, yes. तो मुझे लगता है वो एक अच्छा स्टॉक है। 95 का उसको ब्रेकआउट था, वो अभी 100 के ऊपर जाके ट्रेड हो रहा है, 100-103 के रेंज में। सो एक छोटा सा स्टॉप लॉस 95 पे लगा करके यहाँ से बाई कर सकते हैं 110-116 रुपए के लिए। मुझे लगता है ये एक छोटा सा स्टॉक है जहाँ पे थोड़ा सा हम देख सकते हैं। एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट वी डिस्कस सो मेनी स्टॉक, भेल, बीईएल, तो ये थोड़ा एक अच्छा लग रहा है कि ये यहाँ से भी थोड़ी सी रैली मिल सकती है सारे स्टॉक।
एक बार बताइए राघवेंद्र जी, आपने गोल्ड और सिल्वर में प्रॉफिट बुक किया है या अभी वो लॉन्ग ट्रेड चल रहा है?
सर सिल्वर में कर लिया 1 लाख रुपए पे।
अच्छा। और फिर वो इन 10 स्टॉक में लगा दिया जो आपने मेरे को 10 नाम बताए।
सर
कुछ
जी
आपको
बिल्कुल
लिख के
बिल्कुल आज सर जी बिल्कुल लेके 47 लेके बैठे मेरे लिए। आज तो छोड़ूंगा नहीं मैं।
नहीं। ये आपको साक्षी बताएंगी कि मैं सबके स्टॉक पिक्स लिखता हूँ। मेरे पास एक किताब है, अगर आप हमारे यहाँ किसी दिन आए हैं और आपने कुछ अच्छे वाक्य बोले हैं तो मैं उन्हें लिख के और जो बोलता है व्यक्ति उसको व्हाट्सएप भी कर देता हूँ, और जब वो अगली बार आते हैं तो उनके रेट्स उनको बताए जाते हैं। ये आपका रिपोर्ट कार्ड है। तो अभी मैं आपको जो अपनी लिखावट में आपकी जो पकड़ है, आपको फोटो एक भेजूंगा ताकि मेरे पास भी रिकॉर्ड रहे, आपके पास भी रिकॉर्ड रहे। तभी मैंने जीएनएफसी का प्राइस आपसे दोबारा पूछा था क्योंकि वो मैं लिख नहीं पाया।
Okay, wonderful. So we will be looking at all of these stocks that Raghavendra you have shared with us, a list of those 10 stocks. Time and again we will be revisiting, and on top of that these 2 or 3 stocks that you mentioned, Paradeep Phosphates, Kiri Industries, as you also highlighted for all our viewers right there. PSU स्पेस में NMDC के चार्ट को देखकर बताइए कैसा लगता है आपको? ये आज 1.5% से ज़्यादा ऊपर है. आई थिंक बहुत ही रेयर स्टॉक्स है PSUs में जो आज ऊपर है. What's really happening with NMDC?
NMDC ने अभी सिमेट्रिकल ट्रायंगल ब्रेकआउट किया है. RSI स्टॉक ऊपर है, टेक्निकली थोड़ा स्ट्रांग लग रहा है, बट ये है कि 240 के ऊपर जाना मुश्किल है बिकॉज 240 पे सप्लाई बहुत ज्यादा. तो आई बिलीव 240 इज द टारगेट. बुलिश फ्लैग भी छोटा सा ही कि राउंडिंग बॉटम भी है. डेली चार्ट पे, मंथली चार्ट थोड़ा सा मुझे लग रहा है कि और एक मुझे लगता है 2-3 दिन और देखना पड़ेगा. मुझे लग रहा है कि इस मंथ में ये स्टॉक जो है एक बार 250 तक के लेवल जो है छू सकता है यहाँ से. स्टॉक बहुत अच्छा है. चार्ट पे जो पैटर्न बना है वो बहुत बढ़िया है. तो आई बिलीव साक्षी जी ये जो है 220 के स्टॉप लॉस से वन शुड डेफिनेटली बाय दिस स्टॉक फॉर द टारगेट ऑफ 240 to 45 लेवल.
ठीक है. And 320 right now, Raghavendra. Any BT, ST, BT trades that you'd like to highlight for our viewers today?
Aurobindo Pharma and Sun Pharma. These two stocks are looking good. So Aurobindo Pharma, I'm expecting to touch around 1425, 1430 level tomorrow. And Sun Pharma, I'm very much bullish. So I'm expecting to touch 1850, 1870 level. So these two pharma stocks are looking good. In this scenario, जो अभी करंट सिनेरियो चल रहा है, मुझे लगता है ये दो स्टॉक डिफेंसिव भी हैं और अच्छे भी हैं.
Okay, got it.
320, ladies and gentlemen, we have 10 minutes left, and let's hope that today's close is above 24,000 on the Nifty. Remember, the previous low that got broken today was 24,078, 24,080. And from then on, there was a sell-off till about 24,900 or so. Of that, about 100 points has come back, but this is again the short covering of shorts, which is basically people have made money intraday and while shorting, and they've squared up those shorts. Nobody knows what might happen overnight. Plus, we have one major event that's going to take place. We don't know when, which is Iran's response to Israel. It was ideally these kind of things happen on the weekend, which we've often discussed, but let's hope it's got postponed forever and we won't see the light of it even in the coming week. But that is overhanging sword on the neck of Nifty, because crude oil prices are up for the 5th day and they are pointing to something. Plus you have the US Federal Reserve meeting on Wednesday and Thursday. So a lot of macro event led day week is what is putting the bulls on the back foot. Sakshi.
Right, Raghavendra ji, 8 minutes to go. We've been discussing the markets, but the all important event globally will take place tomorrow, and I think day after tomorrow we will get to see the fine print of what has been decided in the US presidential elections. Your own sense of how are you looking at what the Indian markets will be reacting to positively, Trump or Harris?
मैम देखिए, ये बोल पाना तो बहुत मुश्किल है कि ट्रम्प कौन आएगा तो क्या कर देंगे और हैरिस क्योंकि कोई भी आ जाए, एक चीज तो पक्का है कि बाजार यहाँ से ऊपर जाना है. रीजन सी आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू द फैक्ट. आप एफआईएस का डेटा देखिए, आप 80% शॉर्ट में है, 20% लॉन्ग में है. आज का जो डेटा आएगा मुझे लगता है 85% शॉर्ट में होंगे, 15% लॉन्ग में रहेंगे. सो ये डेटा मुझे बता रहा है कि आएगा कोई भी, चाहे वो कोई भी आए चाहे कोई भी, बाजार यहाँ से ऊपर जाना है. रीजन इज 85% शॉर्ट आप जीरो नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज यू आर नॉट अलाउड टू सेल लिक्विड इन इंडिया. तो एनी हाउ यू हैव टू बाय समडे समवेयर. तो बिफोर द इवेंट एफआईएस हैज बीन ऑलरेडी सोल्ड आउट ऑलमोस्ट 1 लाख करोड़. अब वो बेचने के बाद उनके पास बचा क्या है बेचने के लिए? 85% शॉर्ट में है. अगर कोई भी आता है बाजार एक बार शॉर्ट कवरिंग के लिए, जो भी इवेंट आएगा उसमें एक बार बाजार 200-300 पॉइंट और नीचे आके यहाँ से रिवर्स लेना है. तो डेटा इज एवरीथिंग. मैं इस पे तो मैं ये सोच नहीं रहा हूँ कि ट्रम्प आएंगे कि हैरिस आएंगे. मैं ये सोच रहा हूँ कि एफआईएस क्या करेंगे, और डेटा सामने है. 85% इज द शॉर्ट पोजीशन, उनको शॉर्ट कवर करना ही पड़ेगा. सो एनी हाउ कोई भी आए, मुझे लगता है बाजार को ऊपर लेके जाएंगे.
वैसे भी आप लॉन्ग है और जैसे ही ये रैली मजबूत होती हुई दिखेगी राघवेंद्र जी, एक फ़ोटो घी शक्कर की साक्षी और मैं आपके लिए भेजेंगे।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, आज बोला मैं, आज AK-47 है आज। आज तो आज शैल जी बिल्कुल एकदम मूड में है आज।
नहीं नहीं
दिवाली की सारी मिठाई जो है मुझे ही खिलाएंगे आज।
नहीं, मैंने इसीलिए कहा कि फ़ोटो भेजूंगा।
बिल्कुल।
और जब बहुत सारा कमा लेंगे पैसा राघवेंद्र जी, तो वो असली में भेजेंगे आपको।
मैं
नहीं फिर
खुद लेके आऊंगा सर के लिए।
क्या बात,
बाजार ऊपर जाएगा तो मैं खुद ही लेके आऊंगा स्टूडियो में।
क्या बात है, आपका वेलकम है। You're
हमेशा
welcome.
तहे दिल से आपका स्वागत है राघवेंद्र जी। आप मिठाई लाएं ना लाएं, लेकिन जब भी कभी दिल्ली आएं तो ज़रूर दर्शन दें।
बिल्कुल 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 सर,
आपसे
बिल्कुल,
सीखने को
बिल्कुल,
मिलेगा, और इतनी जो आपकी हसीन हंसी है उसके पीछे हम लोग राज जानेंगे।
थैंक यू सर, डेफिनेटली आएंगे, मुलाकात करेंगे आप लोगों के साथ।
चलिए अब किसी तरीके से अगले 5 मिनट और निकाल लें, ये दर्दनाक दिन जो है वो समाप्त होगा।
ये सूर्यास्त क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, वैसा मीम आज बीच में आजकल चला, तो मुझे लग रहा है ये 3:30 क्यों नहीं बज रहा है, 3:30 जल्दी से हो जाए तो मार्केट
24,000
आज
के ऊपर हो जाए।
24,000 के ऊपर सस्टेन कर रहा है।
हाँ, मेरे को ये लगता
जी।
है हमेशा साक्षी, जैसे ही बाजार एक लेवल के ऊपर आता है ना, तो बेयर्स मनी मन ताली बजाने लगते हैं कि इन्हें फिर बताएंगे। आ जाने दो ऊपर। So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's start wrapping the market. As we've been talking since morning, it's been a terrible day. It's been a terrible day because of the US 10-year yield that has spiked above 4.3%, and in the month of October alone, Sakshi, from 1st of October till 3rd of November, the US 10-year yield has appreciated 20%, and the Indian equities on the index alone have corrected about 10%. Now, once a main index corrects 10%, then you start getting a little edgy, because then larger term averages start pulling the index lower. Now that you are already here at 24,900, the 200-day DMA is somewhere like 24,500, and people often feel कि जब यहाँ तक आ गया है तो इसको एक बार टच करा दो और फिर वहाँ से ज़बरदस्त मोमेंटम में इसको ऊपर लेके जाएंगे। राघवेंद्र जी वही स्विंग ट्रेड खेलने की चेष्टा में है कि आप एक बढ़िया बाउंस बैक देखेंगे जब किसी मेजर एवरेज से इंडेक्स का टकराना होगा। On the weekly charts, the pain is even worse. We are below 21-day exponential moving average on the Nifty, and we haven't totaled today's 310 points. There are breakdowns that are happening everywhere. Look at Reliance. This is the heaviest traded counter today, down 3%, 1299. HDFC Bank down 1.2%. Infosys in the green. And of course ICICI Bank 1.2% down. Tata Motors complete breakdown, 2.3% lower, 823. Zomato now headed below 240, 244.7, 17.2, and of course Bajaj Auto. Two stocks are standing out and they deserve mention. One is State Bank of India, 830, 1.4% higher. Remember, this is also a bounce from 200-day DMA. And Punjab National Bank 2.7% higher, 103.79. This is a fabulous earnings that came on Monday. So it is not as if that the market is ignoring quality, it's just that these stocks were beaten black and blue earlier and are showing signs of reversal. Raghvendra ji, PNB and SBI before we let you go, sir.
PNB, sir. PNB, in the morning, we discussed with one of the client at 99,100 rupees. Now PNB has a very strong chart. Strong reversal is there on the card. I believe 108,119 is the target for PNB. And entire PSU banks, entire Nifty PSU bank index is looking good. Oversold territory, and now it is trading above the oversold level. So SBI is also good. I think SBI can touch around 850, 855 level within a week.
Okay. I'll mention one line also. PNB has improved its guidance for decrease in gross NPAs, which was 5% point earlier, and it is now pulled down to 3.5 percentage points till the end of FY25. That's a very, very big positive, and that's getting reflected in the stock price, which by the way has corrected from 146 rupees all the way down to 98, and that's the bounce that you see on the chart. Sakshi, yours.
Okay, thanks a lot, Raghavendra, for being with us on the show
Thank you so
and
much.
sharing with us all your stock ideas. We will be penciling them down and reiterating them next time when you visit us online. Till the time, we are keeping our fingers crossed, hoping for this bounce to sustain and move on from here on to higher levels. 312 points lower in trade. Again, it is looking very edgy, 23,998 right now. Whether or not we will have a close above that 24,000 mark, just a few seconds away from closing in the markets right now. Okay, the fine print, the last print that I have is 23,990. This will get adjusted. We'll have to see whether 24,000 was seen at the last tick or not. 1.3% lower as is being indicated right now. Nifty Bank about 0.8% lower, 442 points lower in trade. All the sectors down in trade. Realty the top loser, 2.8% lower now. Oil and gas, infra, small caps down by over 2% each. 1.5% loss for metals. Midcaps also down by 1.3%. Private banks, financial services, consumer durables, FMCG also down by over 1% each. IT stocks were showing some strength in at least some of the stocks, which is why it has closed just flat with a negative bias in trade today. Tech Mahindra was the top mover. M&M, Cipla, SBI, Dr. Reddy's were the other movers on the Nifty. Apart from that, it was HCL Tech, Infosys and IndusInd Bank. Those were the handful names that were higher in trade. On the downside again, Hero, Grasim, Bajaj Auto, Adani Ports and BPCL, and even Reliance Industries now down 3%. That was the one that's closed at 1298 odd levels in trade today. F&O top movers, Info Edge, PNB, Tech Mahindra and Samvardhan Motherson. On the downside, you had stocks like Sun TV, Vodafone, Bata India, PVR Inox and Mahanagar Gas and Hero Moto as the top drags right now. We'll wrap it up at that. Do stay tuned on to Business Today Television as we continue to track markets and beyond markets business news for you. So stay tuned. There's a lot more coming up on your screens.
Often I'm in situations where I have 5 minutes to impress somebody from abroad who wants to know, okay, what's happening in India. So I want to give you that 5-minute description. Actually, it's not even 5 minutes, probably 1 minute. I tell people, please understand today's India. Today's India, if I were to pick 5 numbers, is building 28 kilometers of highway every day. It's building 12 to 14 kilometers of railway track every day, quite apart from the Vande Bharat trains which have been introduced, which I would invite you to ride on next time any of you are in India. Which had 6 cities with metros a decade ago, which has 21 today, and we are planning an additional 39 to take. Which has on average built 7 to 8 new airports every year for the last decade. A decade ago we had 75 airports, today we are close to 150. Which, by the way, as a result